every single being in this world is intuitive. Now, the thing about it is, and there's a lot of people who I work with over the years that they don't trust it. We're not educated in this area. We're much more educated to think things through, to go to our left brain and reason things out, set goals, and create a plan of action and do things. Whereas intuition is the right brain aspect, and it's creative.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Hey, welcome. Welcome, Moira, welcome, listeners, and welcome to myself, Debz. This is a deliciously motivated mindset conversation. And guess what? Today's a goodie.
A goodie, of course, because if we're talking, it's a goodie.
It's definitely a goodie. It's definitely a goodie. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this day, night, weekend, wherever you are in the world.
Wherever and whenever you're listening to this. Not reading this. Listening to this.
Well, there could be. Actually, do we do subtitles? Maybe we could do. I don't know.
Just for the wee intro part. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, there you go then. I'll stop babbling. Anyway, so welcome, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about tips to increase intuition. But first, we are going to rate ourselves. Now, if you've been an avid listener or you're a new listener or you're a random listener, what's the difference? A random listener. The reason we rate ourselves. Yeah, drive by. What we do is we rate ourselves a 0 to 10. 10 being the number between 9 and 11. And a 10 is somebody who is so chaotic, so frazzled, so frustrated, really cannot see light at the end of the tunnel, cannot even see the light switch beside them, just feel like everything's on top of them. And a 0 is zenned out, beautiful, neutral, sitting truly in the present, in the heart, complete. Would be just that. I just try and do a different explanation each time. And that's a 0. So we don't judge you where you're at. The key is to move from a higher number to a lower number. And occasionally you can go backwards, as long as there's value in you going backwards. So let us know what number you're at now, and then at the end of it, we rate ourselves again and just see how we've shifted. And this is a great tool to do throughout your day when things happen.
Yeah,
so
you're dealing with stuff.
In saying that, Moira, 10 to 0, 10 to 0, what number would you be slipping into right now?
Right now, I'm feeling very zen. There's kind of a difference between where I personally feel right now and how I feel about the topic that we're talking about today. So I'm going to say I'm putting myself at a 0, and the topic, I'm excited about it. So I'm going to say 2.5.
Yeah, now that's an interesting one because I love this topic, and because Moira said excited, that isn't a 0.
No, it's not.
A zero is neutral, flatlined. If I can say that, which doesn't sound that great, but flatlined, completely neutral, living in the present.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to say right now, tips to increase intuition on the topic. I'm going to say I'm a 2.5 because I'm between a 2 and a 3. I'm a little bit excited about this one. So I can scoop some tips from Moira as well as share some out. And I'm going to say I'm a 1, where I am neutrally. I'm going to say I'm a 1.
Awesome.
So that's where we're starting. So tips to increase intuition. Moira,
Yes.
kick it off. Go. You start.
Well, this is the fundamental piece of my own life's work, is to teach people that we're all intuitive. Every single being in this world is intuitive. Now, the thing about it is, and there's a lot of people who I work with over the years that they don't trust it. We're not educated in this area. You know, we're much more educated to think things through, to go to our left brain and reason things out, set goals, and you know, create a plan of action and do things. Whereas intuition is the right brain aspect, and it's creative. It's actually where quantum leaps can be created, simply because it's got a lot to do with trust and accessing your inner wisdom. I actually love to break that word apart, because tuition is teaching, but it's in you. The teaching,
you're good,
is within you.
Do you know, I've never looked at it like that, but that's a great one.
Isn't that cool? It's like you go to school by looking within you.
Yeah. That's yep. You said a word before that really had shining lights on it, Hollywood lights, and the word trust. And trust is can build or destroy you, if I was to put it this way.
That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, trust is just such a large impact on intuition.
It really does.
Well, actually on life, not just intuition, in complete life. And if you have a small percentage of trust that is broken, that can grow very, very, very quickly.
Well, because that's the thing, is that trust will undermine the intuitive hit or intuitive guidance or message that may have landed. Because if we don't trust, then we will listen to the inner critical voice that says, really? That's not true. How did you know that? Where did that come from? Right? In fact, it reminds me, so I teach the 9 different ways or channels in which we receive our intuitive guidance. And they're called the clairs. Clair, CLAIR.
Oh, you've told me these.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So that's clear. This is the clear. So and it's to do with our senses, right? So a clairvoyant is somebody who sees. A clairaudient is somebody who hears. A claircognizant is somebody who just knows. So these pieces, clairsentient is a feeling. Now, we actually all can use all 9 of them. But generally speaking,
I'm just jotting these down as quick as I can, people.
Generally speaking, we have our favored 2 and sometimes 3. So for me, I am actually a claircognizant and clairaudient, which means I just know stuff and I hear things, but I hear them in my mind, or I have something just will blurt out my mouth. Now, I'm also an energy healer. So whenever I've done energy work, like a Reiki session or an energy healing session, I actually then become clairvoyant. So I have visions, but it's only when I'm doing that. So, and I'm just sharing that to say
there's 9 of them.
There is 9 of them.
Okay.
I can't list them all. I can't list them all off the top of my head, but
well, that'll be a first. Just so you know, listeners, that'll be a first that she can't, because she can quote stuff from when she was 12 and read it in a book, and she can tell you what page it's on. She's got that stuff stuck in her head.
Just the intuition speaking.
yeah. So are these ones that you've said, are they the main ones? The clairvoyant, clairaudient?
Yeah. That's the top of the list. There's things like clairgustance, which is taste. There's clairsalience. Wow. Clairsalience is actually, this is funny, clairsalience is actually a lot more prevalent in our society than we think, because it's smell. So think about,
I get that.
See? Yeah, a lot of people do. Like their loved one that's passed over, they might suddenly smell their perfume. That's an intuitive guidance channel opening up.
I see. I knew there was something I was going to learn on this one. Yeah, see, sometimes I can smell a fire before it happens, or no, yeah, we're not going down that path, Deborah. We want to know that stuff. Or maybe we do.
But you're proving my point. You're proving my point that we all have these. It's just that we don't educate ourselves into the leaning into the trust of it.
This is because you're right. Because as I'm looking at this list here, I'm going, oh, I do that. You know, and yes, I would say I'm intuitive. There's definitely moments when I just go, oh, that's a given, and I don't question it. And then people question me. I go, well, how did you know? And you're like, I know. And then I start going, it's those the outside go, well, how do you know? And you're like, I know. Like, I know it's going to work out. I know.
Right.
But how do you know? And then I'm like, I know. And then I start going, Deborah, how do you know? And I'm like, I know. Like, why are you even questioning this? You just know it works. So you just go with it. Right. But it's interesting because even just, even just knowing these ones that you've just shared now allows you to go, oh, that explains that. So it's just a deeper, I would say intuition is you just know.
That's right. Know. Yes.
That's it. End of story. And to me, it is end of story. You know, that's it.
It's an unquestionable truth that you just say it is. But I like what you said about when people say, how do you know? How do you know?
Yeah. And so then your mind.
You go, well, I don't know. Where did I know that? Oh, maybe I made it up. Oh, I'm just, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of the primary tips that I'd love for our listener to just really take is do not allow somebody else's opinion or over questioning derail you. Because
anything. I'm just going to say that's in anything in life, okay?
Yeah.
It's their story that they have, their chapter in their book. Don't let that book come into yours.
Precisely. Well said.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing, and I told you a moment ago that what my chief channel of receiving things is claircognizance. So like you were just saying, I just will suddenly know something. You know, years and years ago, my husband would want proof. He's very sciencey, left-brained. Where's the proof? I'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So then and this is what was my education of, if you need to do your research or you want to go and find out, go do it. I'm not the person that's going to, quote a scientific study over here. Can't be bothered with that. But I'll tell you what I know, or what in my intuition or my intuitive guidance, because I do trust it. But I've had to work on this one too.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was with Mum a couple of days ago, and I can't actually remember the story, but I remember us having this discussion, air quotation marks, this discussion, and she said, were quite a bully. And
Oh.
I went, what? And she said, you were quite a bully. And she kept repeating the word bully. And I went, no, I was just certain. Like me. No, I was just certain. And she said, but why were you certain? And I said, because I just knew. And, I mean, I must admit, I did feel for my mum after I played that conversation in my head. And because she wasn't getting what she wanted out of me. She was, you know, you were quite a bully. And instead of, she probably wanted me to say, oh, I'm sorry. Or right. I don't know what she wanted. I never asked her. But I was like, no, I was certain. And I was really perplexed at why she called it a bully, because I was like, no, I was certain. And then she said, but how do you know it's going to work out that way? And I said, because it is. And she said, but how do you know? And I said, it is.
Right.
And I got quite cranky with her that she didn't see that it was going to work out.
Right.
And at that moment, I remember stopping and just going, oh, this is her story. This is her belief.
Yes.
This is her, because I actually want to say, oh, for goodness sake. Of course I wouldn't. Well, no. But I was just left with, why are you, poking me? It's going to happen. End of story. Like, why are we even having this discussion? But for her, this was her story of trust, intuition. How can this person be so certain when she has, mum's mind, no knowledge of this working out or not, no previous knowledge. And I was really like, why are you just even asking me? Like, this is a waste of our time. It's going to happen. End of story. Right. And it did happen. And I didn't need to say, told you so. I wouldn't. There's certain people you don't say that to, like the Queen, like my mother. Told you so. I don't need to say I told you so. But it was, and then I realized it was her story. It was her chapter in her book, her beliefs that have come in, and she's left with, it wasn't that she was degrading me. She actually just couldn't understand my chapter. My chapter had that much intuition and certainty, boom, that hers was like, how? Like, she was actually asking me, and I was just like, why are you even asking? This is irrelevant. It's going to happen. Like, this is a waste of time.
But this is a really, really interesting point, because when we really do get in touch with our intuition and we intuitively know, to your point, you knew everything, this is going to work out, didn't need to be talked about. But when we are in touch with our intuition, it also allows us to realize that not everybody sees it or feels it or gets it the way we do.
That was hers.
Yes. But in hers, it's then gently, lovingly, hey, Mom, you're going to have to look at this in your way.
Well, I didn't. I was like, what's wrong with you?
What's the point? Why don't you just believe me?
Yeah, why are you counting the spots on the leopard? Just trust there's enough spots there. Like, for goodness sake, let it go. And that was my bulldozer, bully way, whatever.
Right.
Without her, and she was asking for an understanding. Now, looking at the bigger picture, she could not understand how I was so certain with no knowledge and no whatever. And it was my intuition just went, this is it. And I didn't question. Like, the moment you question your intuition, you're out of your intuition.
You absolutely are.
State.
Yep.
And I didn't even question. And even after, I still went back and I went, no, it was true. But that may have been a bit of ego. But okay, there was a bit of ego there. There was some ego there. But I didn't need to question my intuition, because that was it. Right. It was certain. Yeah. And I just got more frustrated that she couldn't read my script, my story, whatever. And I couldn't read hers, so I was getting grumpier as well. But
but
she was asking, she was asking for that guidance. How do you get that? And I was like, well, you just do. Why are we questioning?
But so that's the key piece, is that when we when we're making a commitment to ourselves that we are going to increase our intuitive nature and trust and speak the wisdom or the truth or the perspective from that intuition, there's going to be people. There will always be people that say how, or prove it to me, or show me, or that doesn't make sense, or how on earth could you know something like that?
Yeah.
But something to be very aware of is that sometimes when that shows up, it's actually a mirror of a past pattern of doubting your own intuition.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know about you, but when I've always been an intuitive, but I can think of times where I would have full-blown arguments going on within inside me.
I laugh because I'm like, yeah, you'd be odd if you didn't.
Yeah, but then I think that then if I overcome that, or I manage to talk the critical voices down, that anytime it happens where somebody challenges me, or like your example with your mom, I will stop and I will come into, where am I doubting my own intuition? Where am I saying,
I didn't do that. Yeah.
Are you really? Yeah, I'm not saying that.
And that's my ego. And that's where my ego was definitely, well, what's your problem, Mum?
What's your problem, Mum?
Yeah, what's your problem? You're wrong. You're not even listening to your intuition. But her intuition was pushing to ask quality questions, which I encourage, but not to me. Shouldn't say it like that.
But you know, and because the other part too, with anybody that's saying, how do you know that? They are not actually allowing themselves to just step into that sense of trust too.
Listen to their own intuition.
Yeah,
because they're seeking that guidance.
Yeah,
it is definitely an interesting, and looking at the ones that you gave me, they are all there. They are all there. Definitely, they're all there.
Yeah.
You know, that smell. There was. I remember going into a shopping mall, and the elevator, the escalator, the travelator was smelling really. Couldn't even think what it was, and I'm doing the signs just so people can understand.
So
if I'm
just
going
so
down.
you can see her hand going down.
Yeah, that's it. And I remember going, I'm not going to get in there. I'm not going to go in there. There's something. It just didn't. It smelled burny and it smelled yucky. And I got on the stairs, and as I'm halfway down the stairs, it stopped, and people fell forward and grazed their knees and everything. And I remember I was like, bugger, you know, I know. I'd like to say I was younger, and I carried on, and then I went, oh my God, that was that was that sign that you get. That was that intuition. That was that, and so that's that. Salient. You said that's it. That was one of those things. And because I wasn't totally present in the moment, it took me till when I started to calm myself down, and I sat and I listened and looked at everything that happened that day. I went, oh my God, that's one of those things. It's one of those purple moments.
Yep. Purple moment.
It's purple moment. That's your intuition. But
a quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciously-motivated-mindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciously-motivated-mindset.com/gift.
Definitely there's moments that I can clearly see that I've had all of those, and just having those is an understanding. And it is the biggest thing is trust it, because our mind can filter in and change a lot.
Absolutely. But do you know the other part? So trust is got to be the foundational piece here. But the other thing too is I see intuitive guidance or access to that as a muscle.
Yeah.
And we have to keep exercising that. And so exercising your intuitive capacity could be doing something like, if your phone rings, if you don't have call display, that would be who's on the phone, or seeing if you can predict what number plate is going to be on the car behind you. Things like that, just I'm talking very playfully here. Or if you could see I like to pull myself oracle cards every morning. And so sometimes, depending on how much time I've got for myself to do that, I will actually try and predict the cards before I even turn them over.
Oh, you're good.
But this is me doing my work, and you wouldn't believe how many times it's spot on. Or maybe you would believe.
I would. I was just going to say, yeah, I would. But tell me, I love that. I love that. I giggle at that. But what about if you're living by whatever, like you pull that card and that is it for the day, and you live, breathe, and have to do that card? Is that your intuition, or is that you're not trusting your intuition to guide you through the day, and you're just living by that quote? Like today, that's
you're living vicariously through the card itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's very much about intention setting.
Yeah.
So in my wee analogy here, it's not an analogy, this is the truth. I do a 3-card reading on myself every morning before I do a meditation.
Yeah.
But I'm being very specific about what I do is I ask the 3 cards. The first one is what's my energy? The second card is what's my focus? And the third card is what's my outcome for today? And I only use oracle cards in this space that have one word on them. So they'll have some kind of beautiful artwork, but only one word, because I don't want to have it clouded, like you're saying, a whole quotation or something. I don't want that, because then that might provide too much of a filter.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, I can tell you what today's cards are. I just told you what is my 3-card placement. So the first, my energy is acceptance. My focus card.
It's a nice card.
I know,
not that people can see that because it's a
they're
podcast.
Beautiful cards. My focus for today is gratitude.
Okay.
And then my outcome for this day is action. So what that told me right at the beginning of the day is I'm accepting and in flow with everything that's going on around me. I'm staying present and feeling very, very grateful. And that the more I focus and use gratitude as my decision maker, then by the end of the day, I will have a very clear action plan or intention for the next week, which is, this is the day of the week that I would sit and do something like that. So that I'm sharing that to give to you. You were asking me, is it that I've set the intention and I'm going to create it simply because I pulled that card, or did my intuition guide me?
Yeah. And I think that's what you do is a really lovely way, because I do know people who do that card and that's what they must live by.
Right.
But then to me, that's a level of, gosh, any time you wobble outside that card,
then you're going to shame yourself.
Yeah, you're going to have your self-worth's going to go right down. And it's like, that's insane. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose is to live your best life you can today, serve, be thankful.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that. So when we think about tips to increase our intuition, I'm just thinking, there's so much in my mind right now. So much. But, if you, I used to think, even if you had to be healthy to listen to your intuition, you had to be truly present and focused and healthy. But you can actually be in a slump and listen to your intuition.
Of course.
You can be bloated because you've eaten so much and you can still listen to your intuition.
Yep.
You could, your intuition is there at any level. You don't have to go, oh, okay, I need to sit in the corner and I need to put my white gown on and cross my legs and hold my hands like
do some mudras.
That's it. Rock forwards and lock myself away and turn my phone off and all that. You don't have to do any of that.
No, you don't.
But when I was growing up, that's what I believed you had to do to pull in your intuition, and you don't. And I think, people are going, God, Did anyone ever think like that? Please tell me if you ever thought like that, people. Just so I know that I am unique. Not.
No, I can think of a lot of people who think and believe that.
Yeah, but your intuition is there the whole time.
Absolutely is.
Guiding you through your life, through your world, allowing you to breathe. Like your intuition's telling you to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Your intuition's telling you to hold your breath for a moment. Your intuition is telling you all those things, but we don't, I don't know, recognize or reward it enough.
Well, and I love the fact that you just said about you could be in a funk. So let's say you because you also said maybe your intuition's still speaking to you even if you're sitting there feeling all bloated because
sobbing, crying,
sobbing and feeling bloated because you've eaten too much and you've maybe eaten the things that you know intuitively and in your mind that are not okay, or your body doesn't like them or reacts to them.
Because your intuition's given you that before that you've listened to it, but now you're not. Yeah, that one you mean. Yeah.
So here's the key piece though, is some people would then just shame themselves. Like, I suck, look at these dreadful choices that I've been making, and beat themselves up or shame themselves. Whereas really the truth of you is asking for and totally deserving of your unconditional love and acceptance. And it's by that.
Yes.
So you can say, okay, so my intuition said pizza bad, ice cream not so good, but I chose to do it. I chose to do that, and that's okay. We've said this before, it's okay. And it's
funny when you were saying that
you make the choice doesn't mean you're going to do it every time after either. But it's when you can just say, it is what it is. That's my choice for now.
When you were talking, I just wanted to put my hand in my heart and just say, I live here.
Good.
And that's exactly it. Just right there and then, I live here.
Yeah.
Like that is when you start getting that little element of crazy. This is me. I live here.
That's it. I live here and I'm having a human experience. So you think about, there's many different teachings that talk about that in this human experience that we're all doing, we're kind of programmed and have this group propensity to run away from pain and run towards pleasure. But that pleasure, maybe your mind is saying pleasure is a piece of chocolate cake. But then pain is the bloated stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoops. Whoops.
And so it's when we're following intuition, we can just say, it's okay for me to have made this choice, but also knowing that the next time that I'm faced with this kind of choice, I can make it a different way. Right?
Yeah, it's that whole beating yourself up. It's that whole mind chatter, that whole craziness that goes on when you, quotation marks, stuff up. Yeah. And in reality, you haven't stuffed up. You haven't failed, you haven't done whatever. You've just taken another path, that you've just stepped out of your actual other path and you've gone, oh, okay, I want to go back to my other path, or I'm going to keep going on this. And I think that's a massive one. But I think if people don't believe they have their intuition, go back to moments where you've been, and I'm going to say the word burnt. Go back to moments when you got into a relationship with someone and you have seen the signs, the red flags as they call it, or whatever. Right. Then 2 years down the track, you're like, oh my God, I remember them doing that when I first got with them. Why did I stay there? Yeah. That was your intuition.
It was your intuition.
But that's okay, because there's reasons why you needed to learn that lesson. You needed to go through that to, see the red flags or the green flags or whatever, or the flags or whatever. But they're there. Everything is there all the time. Your intuition is guiding you to the truth all the time. And it is just being present and seeing it. And For me, sometimes I'm very fast throughout the day,
Mhm.
and it's only when I stop at night and I'll get into bed and my mind will go, okay, and I'll think about gratitude and I'll think about my morning and who I've talked to and how I could have changed things differently and how I've said stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's a moment of my intuition, or whatever. I don't encourage people to do this in bed at night because sometimes it keeps you awake. Or put it down in a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But this is the stuff, and you can see the signs are there 24/7.
Yep.
24/7. They are there everywhere when you're ready for it.
When you're ready for it. And then I just wanted to circle back on something that you said there, Deb, about that propensity to see your red flags or see the indications of this is not good for you, or this is good for you, and then you maybe talk yourself out of it, or you settle, and then when you get into that, oh, I should have known, or I did know. Sometimes that'll be
I should have known.
I should have known, or I did know,
Yeah.
and look. But be very careful here, because when we shame ourselves or criticize or think that we should have done something, like, oh, I knew that and I didn't do anything better, that has the propensity to stuff down access to our intuition.
Yes, because then you just go, I'm never going to listen to it again.
Exactly.
Without even knowing that you've just created that story, that rule book, that crazy thing that you're so adamant about.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. And to your point too, we're always learning. We're always evolving. Sometimes it's about recognizing that if we chose to go against our preference, that's all we were doing. Is, yes, maybe our intuition said, that you don't prefer that. And so it was kind of giving you an advanced warning. But then you went and did it anyway.
Yep. I was going to say, but then you went and did it anyway.
That's okay.
Yeah, and I think I reference a lot of things to tweaking and not twerking, tweaking and adjusting, from that. And I think if you are going into a dance competition, you don't do the same, yes, you may do the same 5 steps, but you change them up. You don't do the same song. You don't do the same spin every single time you go into a dance competition. You change and evolve, and you learn from what worked before and what didn't. And, that to me is part of evolving, because we all have these things. Oh, I remember so-and-so did that. That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that. Be careful of when you compare to people, though, by the way.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, look how they do it and do it better. No, we don't do that. But look at what you do and evolve, change that step a little bit. Instead of just stepping 2 centimeters, step 5 centimeters and see how that spin changes then. And when you can see that difference there, because we have to change. We can't stay the same, well, you can, but I don't think you're going to be very happy if you literally stay the same who you are 24/7. Love where you are, definitely, but look at evolving, look at changing things, look at stepping it up.
It is said somewhere, I can't remember where this is written or said, but it is said that nothing in this world or in this life stays the same. It is either progressing, expanding, growing, or it's dying and going into spiraling into nothing. So to your point, you can think you're doing the same thing over and over and over again the same way, but is it getting better or is it getting worse?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm thinking about at the beginning of our conversation today, where you set up the rating ourselves from 0 to 10. I swear each time you and I do that, we talk about it a different way. It's just a very basic little rating system.
Yeah, you're right, actually. And that is a great example of just that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think I said I'd try and do it differently.
I think you did say that.
Yeah. Well, if you do, people just go, oh, it's Groundhog Day. I clean my teeth at the same thing at the same time every day, da-da-da. Well, actually, you don't. It won't be exactly at 10 minutes past 2 at 10 minutes past 2. Who's cleaned their teeth at 10 minutes past 2? Somebody, I don't know.
Somebody might.
Yeah. But you don't know what you've eaten before, so your breath will be different. You don't know if you put the exact same amount of toothpaste on there, like all those things. Yeah. It will not be exactly the same. And I think that's an alertner as well.
Absolutely. So as we draw this conversation to a close, one more little tip to help you increase your intuition is to do things in a wee bit of a different way. Make a decision you were just talking about brushing your teeth. Tomorrow morning, go brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand.
No way. No, because I've done that, had to wipe my bottom. Oh, sorry. That's really hard. I had an injury on my right hand and I've had to do the other stuff on my left. That's really hard. Okay.
Well, but
I encourage you to do it, people. Didn't mean to tell people about that. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
When I had broken my right arm, I had to do everything with my left. And it takes a little bit, it feels weird. But it really helps you pay attention to your sensory awareness, which is the vehicle for your guidance, your inner guidance, your intuition.
You become so present, and any other mindset stuff that's going on, you don't know. And if you want to take it another step, do it when you go to the toilet. That's even worse.
So, dear listeners, we hope that some of these tips have helped you not only look at how you can increase your intuition, but actually acknowledge and recognize that you are actually an intuitive being. We all are. So let's look at increasing that. It's your best navigating system there is.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what one you are.
Which one resonates with you? How do you pick up your sensory awareness come through? So, dear Debz and listeners, if you recorded your number at the beginning,
forgot about that.
Checking back in to see where's the number now. So, Deb, I think you were 2.5 and
I was
1. You were 2.5 and a 1. You're 2.5 on the subject and a 1.
I love the topic.
Me too.
I love the topic. I love the topic. I feel we've given value. So that's definitely, I'm going to say that's a 1. Tips to increase my intuition. I was at a 1. I feel like I'm actually going to say a 1.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go into these ones that you've said more. And today I'm really going to be conscious of what one and how I use it.
Yeah.
My poor mum. I'm traveling with my mother today, so I'm going to ask her. She doesn't know what's going to hit her. I'm going to ask her. But I'm going to challenge myself to really look at what my intuition is used today more of.
Good. It's a good way. It's a fun thing. And I'm going to put myself at a 1 also. But
what were you before?
I was a 1 and a 2.5 because I was really excited about the talk.
Okay. Yeah.
The topic. This is something that I am always developing and looking into and helping people with. That's, like I said, and I did say that is my life's work.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm here to help people tap into their intuitive awareness.
Isn't it? I was just going to say, it's funny because people go, how did you know that, Deborah? Why are you texting me now? Why are you messaging me now? How do you know that? Yeah.
Yeah, people do that to me all the time. How do you do that?
Yeah, how do you do that? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, there is no. So the thing is, and when people do say things like that, I have no answer because it's not me that's doing it. I actually just opened up to let it flow through me. And that is the truth of intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, today's been a goodie.
It's been a goodie. Thank you, dear Deb. Thank you, dear listeners. And please always know that we're here for you. We love to hear from you on how do these conversations land for you. And also, if there's ever any topic or ideas you'd love to hear us riff about, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah. Thank you, Deb. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.